Like Frankel.
I'm in with the in-crowd. I go where the in-crowd goes. I'm in with the in-crowd. And I know what the in-crowd knows.
Ai, Zen. Yeah. Look, we're just gonna throw some bars in, have a bit of a laugh, have some fun. Hope you guys like it. Much love. You know it is. Come on, you ones.
Hello and welcome back to Green Street Elites, and we got double the price today. We've got Frankel on my left, and to his left we've got Peach. We're going to be chatting to both of them tonight about why they're West Ham fans and a little bit about WeStHaMRaNdoM, the channel that they started up together. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Budgie.
Good evening, sir.
How are we both? All right.
I'd be better if Peach weren't here. No,
I'd be better if he wasn't here still, but that's just the way we roll, like honestly.
No, it's good. It's all good. I've got a night in with not much to do. Got to be up very early for the game for West Ham tomorrow. So early one.
What time you have to wake up tomorrow?
I've set my alarm for 5:20.
Oh my days!
Wow, I'll probably still be awake at that rate at that time in the morning for me.
You get what I'm
That's
saying?
only like 2.5 hours away.
You get what I'm saying? I gotta wake up like an hour because Frankel's an hour before me. No, an hour after me. So when it's like what? It's like 8:45 here. It's 8:45 your ways, yeah?
Yeah. So you can wake up later, basically.
Like 6:30, yeah.
All right, for some.
Mathematician.
Right.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I was a secondary school maths teacher. Sorry, I'll translate for you, Peach. A
How's
high school math teacher.
There you go. There, see now
There
I
you have
understand
it.
that. I understand
There
that.
you
All
have
right, wicked.
Okay.
Budgie, go on,
So-
run the show.
So, yeah. Well, first of all, first question obviously is, we'll do this in order. Right, Frankel first, and then you, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into West Ham? I mean, how did you become a West Ham supporter?
Well, I saw the movie Green Street Hooligans with Solo Baggins, and I totally love that film, that movie so much.
And now the truth.
So, my family all from East London. My granddad, he grew up in Leytonstone, and my mum and him, he used to walk to the ground, and I hear all the stories. You know, he knew a guy on the turnstile. He was very working class, and so they'd pay their one bit of money, and they'd all go in together. And my mum would tell me how she'd stand on the milk cartons at the back so she could see. And then, so that was in my DNA. And then I think it just got a bit too expensive, so they couldn't go anymore. Then when I went to my first game when I was about 12 years old, I really wanted to go. My dad hates football, so I never had that growing up, just my mum and my granddad. So my first game was in 95-96 season. We played Bolton and won 1-0. Tony Cotty scored. And so, it's a local team. So it goes through my family and it's part of my DNA. If I were ever to get a tattoo, it would be a West Ham related tattoo.
Yeah. And you now live in the States, I understand, yeah?
Yeah, so now I'm in just north of Dallas, Texas. So, and I tell you, the good thing about it when I moved out, having a Dallas Hammers group, it gives you a little bit of home, because that's one of the things I really miss, because I love West Ham, and I miss going to the games. I miss, watching that last Upton Park game from a TV in Texas was me and a lad at the bar were just in tears, to be honest with you, because it's part of your life. It really is.
I understand. And just recently, you came over to the UK and you went to a game. I understand.
Yeah, I was just back at Christmas and I went to. I managed to get 4 games in: Tottenham away in the cup, Southampton at home, and then Watford and Palace away. So when I'm back, I'm making sure I go to the game. It's a priority.
Yeah, full bore.
And if we move on in Europe and get far, it's always like my bucket list. I've really only got 2 things on my bucket list, to be honest with you. One is watching England in the World Cup.
Yep.
And 2 is watching West Ham away on a European game.
Yeah, I agree. That's on my bucket list also. So, Peach, what about yourself, buddy? How did you get into West Ham? I mean, you're Canadian, born over there.
Yeah.
You know, tell me something.
Okay, so it was kind of in my blood because, like, my mom and dad, they both lived in the sound of the Bow Bells, and it's like, what's that myth? That is the myth, and but it's not a myth. It's real talk. Like, if you live in the sound of the Bow Bells, you're like West Ham through and through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they lived them ways there still, dog, and I was born, into it. Claret and Blue was like all that I ever seen, all that I ever knew. I remember going. I went to one school, and the uniform it was like it was Claret and Blue. And my dad's like, that's proper Hammerstings right there. Like, and he didn't say it like that, but you know what I mean. And so I was born into it. Couldn't really give a 2 things about it, to tell you the truth. In the beginning, I was more focused on like my music side of life. And I got into a accident in 2000, and it was messed up. Like, almost died. Like, fucking, excuse my language. I'll stop that. But
so I apologize as well, Budgie, because it's just disrespectful that.
Yeah, that was rude. That was rude. Now,
it's
fuck
fine.
off, Frankel. No, I'm joking. So, yo, let me show you. I love Frankel, by the way. Yo, if it wasn't for Frankel, there'd be no WeStHaMRaNdoM. But no, I'll continue. I'll digress. I got into a car accident really bad in the year 2000. And all I was, like, doing before then was, like, my music and, like, chasing girls, man. And I tell you, after I woke up from a coma and I wasn't like in the right frame of mind to do anything. If nothing, they said it would be a 20-year recovery process, and that was in 2000. And I'll tell you the truth, like, it's 2022, and I've only just started feeling like myself like 2 years ago. So they were
I still
right.
don't think you recovered, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, there you go. But that's Frankel. But see, that's the positivity that Frankel gives, didn't he? It's like, I waited 20 years. Now I got to wait 30 years. Like, yo. No, honestly, like, so what happened? Like, I used to go to all the England matches, and like, I used to go with my dad in fields, like, with shortwave radios, listening to like West Ham and this and that. And my dad, he was at the European Cup Winners' Cup. And he was, and like Frankel, where he was saying he had family members that could just like walk to the ground and go to the ground and watch a West Ham match. I remember my father, he grew up with this boy named Tony Smith, and they used to be at the Cherry Tree. I think it's on Raynham Road. And they just used to be there chilling. And my dad played football. He played in the Isthmian League, and he played for Dagenham, school. Not Dagenham and Redbridge, but he played for like Dagenham School and thing. Yeah. But like they used to like be chilling at the Cherry Tree, and Tony Smith's dad used to come in and be like, "Boys, want to go see West Ham?" And then they just it was as simple as that. It was when they like didn't have no seats and they were standing, and if you had to take a piss, you were taking it like in a newspaper, like, because you couldn't like go to the loo and thing. And yeah, man, it's like the access of games for him to be able to go to, like, back in the day must have been brilliant. But to go on, like, after my accident, it was like I was kind of isolated for a few years. And I got to spend time with my father watching West Ham, and I fell in love with them. And yeah, I was born into it, but like I was focused on other things before,
hmm
2000
So
times.
you
And
kind of grew into it as well as being
yes,
born into it.
Have you ever been to
yes,
a game, Peach?
yes, I've been to a few. I got to no, see, this guy's trying to call me out, man. This guy's trying to call me
I'm
out.
asking you a question, dickhead. I'm not
Veteran.
calling you out. I
Okay,
just
no.
genuinely didn't know.
Big Texas. Yeah, I got to see Hoddle and Waddle for Tottenham play against
You went to see Tottenham play?
against West Ham, you dickhead.
Oh,
Against West Ham, you dickhead. So this is
Okay.
like this is like okay, if I'd say it was like I don't know, 19 like early
53?
1990. There you go. No, late 1980s, early 1990s. Like I was too young to like really understand what was going on.
In the
All I
90s,
remember,
you were probably 30 then, weren't you?
no, about 45. But like I remember, I remember there was this boy in the stand smoking this cigar, and I got sick for the rest of the day from this bloat smoking this cigar, dog. But like it was all standing, and it was like cages. It was at White Hart Lane, like Shite Hart Lane, like the original Bobiginal, and we beat them. I forget who was playing for our team, to tell you the truth. All I remember is Hoddle and Waddle, who played for the other team. But like when Hoddle and Waddle played, you should know this, Budgie. Like what era was that?
The 80s.
Mid-80s.
So who would be playing like McAvenny, Tony Cardi, and like those
Yeah,
men?
yeah.
I mean,
See?
Probably tail
Can
end
you
of
even
Alvin
believe
Martin.
this, Budgie?
No, so I probably saw them and I didn't even realize I saw them. Like real talk. Like and then I went to a next match. This was Wicked Frankel. So we're at the pub chilling, right? My dad and his best mate Andy, who they call like Fred and Barney. My dad's Barney, he's Fred. They used to like manage like football squads and this and that. Called them Barney and Fred and Barney. And like all the ladies used to come up with like chocolate lollipops, and the chocolate lollipops were beers, dog. And they always used to like feed my dad and Andy like chocolate lollipops. So we're in the pub having 2 pints, and then Andy's like, "Hey, my nephew owns a place in Shad Thames. He's in real estate. Let's go stay there. Let's go watch West Ham and Tottenham in the well, it wasn't called Carabao Cup then. It was called Carling Cup. Let's go watch them."
Yeah.
Right? And remember the match when, like, before the match started, there was like, I don't know, hundreds of people got into a fight, and like 100 people got like put in the nick. And
Yeah.
it was right, and that was the Carling Cup, and Bobby Zamora scored the winner for Tottenham. And me and my dad are sitting in the away section, and like, they're all singing Bubbles like at the end of the ground there. And like me and my dad, we couldn't sing Bubbles because we're in like the enemy's lair. So we're just like tapping each other's knees, like kind of humming it. You know what I mean? It was like it was live. But that's when Alan Pardue was manager. And so I got to see that. Don Hutchinson, he was playing Wicked. Yeah, no, that was dope. So I got to see that. Then another game I went to was when West Ham were in the championship, and it was like almost to the end of the season, and it's the season that we got promoted, 2005. And we played Sunderland. Mick McCarthy was managing him, and I got to go to Upton Park, and that was a dream. Like that, we were sitting in the chicken run because my uncle took me, and like he ICF things, all them things, like bad man things. And it's like, yeah, we went to the chicken run, and like just going on the side there, and like going down in just claret and blue everywhere. It was the biz, man. It was the biz, man. So yes, Franco, I've been to see West Ham before, dog. Bosh.
Could have just said yes.
I know, but you know. No,
Yeah.
listen. How many minutes are the messages I leave you, Franco?
Well, you know the rules now.
Hours.
Thank you.
Hours,
Budgie gets the same messages, dog. Budgie gets the same messages.
Budgie. I said to him, if it's 10 minutes or more, I'm not going to listen to it. So he's
You
learned
know,
now.
On WhatsApp, you can double the speed. So I get,
that's what he started doing.
yes, Budgie, my friend.
That's what Frankel started doing. He's like, Peach, I got a perfect way to listen to your messages now. I just put it on like 1.5 or 2, and it's like, hey,
I'm willing to put money that every single person Peach sends those messages to listens to them on 2 times speed, if they even listen.
Yeah,
If
you
they
know,
even listen.
especially if they're more than about 5 seconds long.
Unreal.
Hey, great. Okay, so moving on slightly then.
Yeah.
So we know that you're both born into West Ham, you've both grown into West Ham, you've both been
Well, I
the
am,
same.
Budgie. I mean, I am.
Well, yeah.
Oh, bugger off, dog. How you mean?
Geographically, I
How
suppose.
you mean? Big Texas.
So we've had ups and downs as West Ham fans. You know, we're used to it. We get we get ulcers on our ulcers. So for you, we'll go with Peach first this time.
Go on.
Peach, what's your best West Ham moment?
Best West Ham moment, honestly. Best West Ham. That's a good question. Holy shit, that's a brilliant question. Best West Ham. There's so many. As much as there's like so many like bahs, there's like so many good moments. Like Reece Oxford playing against Arsenal. I thought that was a brilliant like moment, but then he turned out to be a toss pot. Like what's Paulo Di Canio with that choo against Wimbledon. Like that was like, whoa. Paulo Di Canio again, like when there was a penalty and he just grabbed the ball in the air and like nobody knew what he was doing, and he was just that fair of a man, wasn't he? Yes, he was that fair of a man. And then when Paulo Di Canio and Frank Lampard were arguing over who's going to take the penalty, dog, like there's so many, man. There's so many. What's one of my favorites? You know what? Even though I don't really rate him, the Andy Carroll bicycle kick was brilliant. Even though he's a snake in the grass, Dimitri Payet, when he was playing for us, we did look like Real Madrid, and even Mark Noble like quoted that. Like that was brilliant. Watching Mark Noble's 400th game, that was brilliant. Just to see these youngsters like get inbredded into the team. I think I think that's the way to go. I think that's what we're all about. We are called the Academy for a reason. So I love seeing that. I love seeing the likes of Ben Johnson and Longello, and like for new like current team things. Ashby, I love seeing them included. So many good times and good points of West Ham. I've met many favorite moments, man. Honestly.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We've run out of time. No, joking. And same question to you, Adam.
I just wrap it on, dog. I just wrap it on.
All right, it's so hard.
It is, isn't it?
I have got so many moments. I'm gonna stick to the moments of like games that I've been at.
Okay.
The first one that comes to my mind is the second ever match I went to see. It was West Ham Tottenham, and it was when Hartson and Kitson had just been brought in.
All right.
And I went with my granddad, who hadn't been to see a game at West Ham for a long time, probably 20 odd years. So long that we ended up in the wrong stand.
No.
So we had to get to the centenary stand. Well, you know, back then they just don't pay attention, do they? So we walk into the Bobby Moore stand.
Yeah.
And we're with the Bobby Moore lower season ticket holders that always stand up all game. Windy night. It was an evening game under the floodlights at Upton Park. And it was a crazy game because the wind was blowing so much. I remember Tottenham scored a ridiculous goal from miles out, lobbed. I can't remember who was in goal. Maybe
Rob Green.
No, it was before Rob Green. It was it's like 96. We're talking now.
Sorry.
So it was probably whoever came after McCloskey. It could.
Shaka, no.
It wasn't Keller, was it?
Shaka. It might
Shaka, yeah.
Oh, for West Ham. Okay, word up.
But I remember, but we won 4-3 on the night. Dixie scored a couple. Hearts and Kitson both scored. So that game was special because it was the only game I ever saw with my granddad, who's passed now, and so that is a special moment for me.
Awesome.
The other one I'll say is at Villa Park, the semi-final when we got to the FA Cup final. It was against Middlesbrough, and I just the atmosphere in that whole end stand. And what made it funny is one of my friends couldn't get a ticket, so he shows up at the ground 10 o'clock and walks in as if he works there, and then hides in the toilet for the next 4 hours.
What?
Once the stand had filled up, he comes out of the toilet and gets into the game.
Like a boss!
Yes. Legendary performance by my friend Martin.
Brilliant.
But yeah, that was awesome. So they're the two I'll leave you with. I've got so many. I'm sure we all have. But they're the two that come to mind.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous that you were at those matches though, because like the matches I've been to, it's like they've been all right, but nothing like what you just said. You know what I mean? I haven't been able to like witness that excellence like live in person yet. Like,
yeah, but it probably means you haven't also had to witness the heartbreak of like the penalty shootout at that FA Cup final.
Oh no, I witnessed that, but I witnessed that on television. You get what I'm saying? Like, I witnessed that, but actually being there,
as did I. You know, I watched that final on the TV.
Which, to be honest, easier to handle than being stuck in bloody Wales.
100%.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. And you know, also my favourite moment relates to the 1980 FA Cup final. Actually, the homecoming when they came back up Green Street in the coach, in the bus.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I couldn't get to the game.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a ticket. So on and so forth. And I actually watched it in the Boleyn. And then went and stayed at my auntie's for the night, and so on and so forth.
That must have been a nice atmosphere, though, Budge. Watching it at the pub there, like.
Well, I was telling Gatesy about it earlier when I was recording with him. There was this one guy. If you could imagine putting, say, 4 stone and 5 inches on Duke. You've got a big man. You've got a real big man on your hands, right? So I'm standing there, and this big guy, who reminds me of Duke, actually, when I look back at him, he walked over to me, and I thought, oh, my God, I'm going to have to fight here, or I'm going to have to convince this guy that I'm West Ham, you know, because I was there on my own. I didn't have anybody with me. Everybody's hugging and cheering and chanting. I'm just kind of like, you know, I was enjoying myself, but you know, so he walks over to me, and then he notices that I've got this claret and blue scarf on, you know, one of those. You remember back in the 80s? I don't know if you would remember, actually, we had these scarves, and they were made of like nylon or silk, and they they were nylon, and so I had one of them under my jacket and that, and he noticed that, and he walked out over to me with his hands like that, and grabbed me by the shoulders, picks me up and kisses me on the forehead. And he's like, come on, you! And he drags me over to his family, introduced me to his kids and his missus and that. I couldn't take my eyes off her. She was stunning. I felt so out of place though, because like, you know, I didn't know any of them. But it was great, brilliant atmosphere. And then when the coach
Budge, don't you normally make your acquaintances in the toilets?
I heard. It's like you in the carousels, dog. It's like you in the carousels, dog.
I don't normally ply my trade out on the street. No.
Yeah.
Oh my
brilliant.
Days.
So, favourite moments covered. Worst moments. Now, there's going to be plenty of them. I know. But come on, Adam.
No,
I
want to go first. I'll just say one thing. It ain't gonna be like it ain't, no. It's not gonna be.
It's all right. It's all right, Peach. I mean, it's only Budgie's show, but you take
no, I'm not. Shush. No, I'm not. I just no. That's rude. How rude? No,
I agree. That's what I was gonna say.
No, you're being rude. You're being rude, dog. How do you mean? All I wanted to say, worst moment that I remember was Bolton away when we got relegated. That's like that was sinking low. That's all I gotta say. And you remember that, don't you? You remember that, don't you, Budgie? When Sam Allardyce
do.
was in charge and
I
JJ
do.
Okocha was playing for them, and like, oh, bastards. That's it.
Yep.
Go on, Adam.
That's very good. I was at so they did a beanback of that game at Upton Park.
Right.
Because everyone wanted to go because it was such a big game. It was basically do or die. So I remember being at the beanback. But I'll say actually, the season, it was probably that same season when we got relegated with a record number of points. I remember. All I remember is going to a friend's house.
Yep.
I shouldn't probably say that. You can bleep it out if I'm not allowed to say this.
No, you can say anything you want.
I mean, I was probably 17, 18. And so I remember showing up at my friend's house, bottle of vodka and a joint in my pocket.
Bosh!
I remember when that game finished, I remember crying. I remember going to the forest. And I don't remember anything else. Like, I don't even know if anyone. I don't know if someone came with me. I don't. And literally, my memory ends at going to the forest and sparking up, and I don't remember anything after that.
Excellent.
But I remember miserable.
Yeah.
Relegation. I mean, and even here, like I'll say, in recent seasons, we've flirted with relegation. Before COVID, and so like for me and Peach. One thing that the people back home, you guys don't really think about is that if we're not in the Premier League, we won't even get to watch West Ham.
Nada. Yeah.
So like relegation.
I do realise that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for us over here, it's like, I mean, it is everything because like, I mean, for me especially, like I've lived here for 8 years in America now, and I don't have any family over here, and so actually down our local pub, someone like put graffiti on the mirror, and I really kicked off about it because I said to him, look, for some of you guys, you get to come and experience this and then you go home. But for us, like we don't get to go home to our families. We don't get to do that. And so like, how dare you risk ruining that? Like these pubs open at 6:30 in the morning for us to go down and get this a little piece of home. So I mean, I kicked off about it because a lot of people over here, Americans don't understand the football atmosphere. None of their sports have an atmosphere like at the football. They don't sing songs about players. And so we're singing all game long here, and Americans love it. That's why we have fans from other teams show up.
Hence the girl from Chelsea. Like, she probably loves it, like going down to 100.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So with that in mind, we've as you said, we've flirted with relegation quite recently and stuff. And we've already partially covered the 2006 final. What was your initial thoughts on the shootout when we knew it was going to go to penalties? What were your initial thoughts on that?
I mean, I remember and I was right behind that goal where the penalties were taken. I was in the front row of the middle tier. And I remember like Harewood was limping around. And, when it went to penalties, I mean, honestly, when Gerrard hit that, when Gerrard scored, at that point, I was already deflated.
Me
I was
too.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, during that extra time, just before penalties, I nearly passed out.
Yeah.
Because, you're shouting all game. Like, this is, we don't get to go to finals very often. I didn't know I still don't know if in my lifetime I'll get that opportunity again. And so when it went to penalties, it was just horrible. I mean, like I was fortunate enough to be at the Euros final as well. Same thing. Like, because of these experiences, I hate penalty shootouts live. I hate them more than anything.
And the thing is, when you're in the studio, in the stadium, you can't just turn it off and try. You have to endure it, or you look like an absolute dick walking out of the stadium. So I would imagine, being there would have been. I mean, I was talking to Gatesy earlier from Baltimore Iron, and he was telling me that he was behind the Liverpool goal when Gerrard hit that 35-yard screamer or whatever it was. And he said from the moment his foot connected with it, he saw it just head him for the goal.
Oh,
Yeah.
He knew where it was going.
Absolutely.
Absolutely deflating.
Here's
Okay, moving on slightly then.
No, hold
favourite
on,
player-
hold on. I want to talk about the game.
You want another one?
No, I want to talk about the final. I never got to talk about the final, dog.
Sorry,
Snoopy.
Peach, please continue.
I want to talk. I had a ticket to go to that. I was in Billericay. And I was in Billericay on the 29th. And if I'm not mistaken, that match was on the 31st. And I had a ticket to go to that match. But I already had a plane ticket to come back to Canada. And I had a girlfriend who was like crackers. And like basically, and like my mom and dad were like, you can't go, you have to come home, or else you have to pay like another $500 to like get another flight. And I had a ticket. I was just trying to look for it because, like, the ticket that I did have, my father's friend Tony Harris, his son Charlie Harris, like, sent it to me. And like after he went there, and I got the program and everything. And yeah, I was supposed to be there, but I ended up watching that match in our local, and it seemed all good. It seemed like Konchesky, brilliant. Like that goal Konchesky scored, that was like the Arthur Matsuaku like goal that he scored against like Chelsea. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, Brethren, I saw the 4 minutes come on the clock for injury time, and I was like, okay, 1, okay, we're good. 2, okay, we're good. 3, okay, we're good. And like Frankel said, or Frankel's friend said, as soon as that ball left his foot, you knew it was only going in one place.
Yeah.
And that, like, I was watching it at my local, and I stormed out my local, banged the door up, like, just like fucking pushed it. Like, I didn't give a shit. Like, went around the block, dropped my phone like 3, 4, 5 times. Like, I was just so, like, not dropped it, but like slammed it on the ground, needed to get a new phone the next day. But like, I was so vexed because like we had that, but it was that one moment of brilliance, man. And
or one moment of luck.
You get what I'm saying? But Konchesky's was luck, wasn't it? So it's like,
of course.
karma.
You know, I will say though, after that
Go
game,
on, Frankel.
one thing I did experience after that game that I have never experienced at a football match before,
What's that?
and I doubt I'll ever experience again.
What's that?
Is the most incredible amount of mutual respect.
Word up.
It's the first
from
time
the Liverpool
I have ever,
fans.
from you know what?
Yeah.
Every single fan leaving that stadium said the same thing. Whether they doesn't matter what shirt they're wearing. Everyone said, "Man, West Ham were the better team. Was so unlucky, but Steven Gerrard is a superstar." And everyone could agree on it.
And you know what?
We all and after that day, since that day, there's always been a bit of a mutual respect between Liverpool and West Ham.
Agreed.
And
Gerrard wrote about it as well. I don't know if in his autobiography, Gerrard actually mentioned that him and the team had more respect for West Ham and their fans after that game.
Yeah.
But Frankel, don't you find that? Frankel and Budgie, this is like both towards you. Don't you find something very similar with the match we played in the FA Cup against Kidderminster, and how like Declan Rice was the Steven Gerrard? Because if Declan Rice didn't pick up that game by the scruff of the neck like he did, and for us to win it, and Bowen to be in the right place at the right time for him to like slot in the winner, even when we won, we were like, Kidderminster should have won that. And I think that's exactly how all the Liverpool supporters felt at the West Ham FA Cup final. I really do, man.
True.
Yeah. I chat to quite a lot of Liverpool fans over at my local pub.
Yeah.
The landlords and Liverpool fans, though, a lot of the customers are as well. And there's one guy in particular, Greg. He's a pal of mine, Liverpool fan. Comes from, I'm not sure what area, but he's from Liverpool. And even he said to me, and we're talking about 18 years down the line. He said to me not too long ago, we didn't deserve to win that game. West Ham should have had that in the bag. It was only, purely from Gerrard's brilliance that they managed to get themselves back in it. And then he said to me, you know, he said after the match, he said, you know, that they all went to a bar and so on and so forth. He said, and, you know, there was like an equal mix between West Ham and Liverpool fans in there. And as you said, Adam, there was a mutual respect between them
It
all.
was
They were all
peace.
drinking
Yeah,
together.
there was
They were all
peace.
having a good
Yep.
time together. And,
Yep.
you know, the Liverpool fans were commiserating the Hammers fans and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And he said to me, out of all of the games that he's been to, and, you know, he regularly is missing from the pub of a weekend when Liverpool are at home because he'll go back up and watch, you know. And he said to me, out of all the games that he's been to, that was the one game that he was absolutely sure that they had lost. And, you know, it was a bit like us with the Tottenham game last season, you know, when Lanzini scored that wonder goal.
Oh,
You know, it was like, you know, 3-0 down. We thought that was gone.
Yeah.
And yes, just in case anybody watching this doesn't know,
oh, go
the
on,
man in the
Budgie.
middle
I was
there,
gonna mention it. Go on, Budgie.
the man in the middle there,
Yeah.
Adam Frankel,
Yeah,
he's gone to show you now. He owns
yeah.
owns that shirt. That is the shirt that Manuel Lanzini was wearing on the day. He ripped that shirt off, threw it
Yep.
on the floor,
Yep.
picked it up, put it back on, and now Adam sits there staring at it day in, day out.
It couldn't
That
belong.
man-
It couldn't
that man
belong to
has
a more
a
beautiful
legend-
person. It couldn't
Yeah, and
belong to a more
it's a
beautiful
legendary
person, man.
shirt.
Straight up.
I love it. And
Yeah,
it's
Word
my,
up.
it's
Word
my
up.
most. I'm not really a person that puts emphasis. I don't own many things that are cool because I don't care about items because you know you attach sentiment to things. All that can happen is you get hurt because if it gets broken, it gets lost. You know, and so I never think it's a smart idea to have these family heirlooms that are
Real
that
talk.
carry so much meaning.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? This shirt, every time I look at it, I'm reminded of that game. I'm reminded of the comeback from 3-0 down. And what a performance. What a celebration. What a moment.
Yeah. And, you know, and in fairness, you know, I another little show idea that I've got bubbling around in my head is like a player profile, player bio, whatever you want to call it. And the first one I'm going to do is Lanzini, because that goal is probably my favourite goal in history of West Ham. That and the scissor kick from
Di
Canio.
Yeah.
Those two goals are standout goals for West Ham. And there are many more, obviously, but those two in particular are mine.
When Carroll went up and like he did the bicycle kick like on top of that,
Awesome.
like
And
that
you know,
was just like, where did
Antonio's
that
one.
come from? Like,
Antonio's
Yeah.
one against who was that against? I can't remember. He was holding off the defender and he turned on it and bicycle kicked it. Who was that
Yeah.
against?
um,
It was only last season, wasn't it?
it was Watford.
City?
No,
No,
It might- no.
I can't remember who it was.
I
But
still
you know,
like
there are many
one.
standout goals in
100.
like West Ham's history. But you know, for me,
100.
those are the two that really come to the fore.
I still like the one when Antonio had it and Antonio had it Fornals. He fed it to Fornals. Fornals fed it back to Antonio, and Antonio just put it in. I thought that was like a display of like football like hierarchy. Like honestly, that was just like whoa. But like single individual goal, like Pedro Obiang, that was mad. His goal was mad, and it was like from outside the 20-yard box, and then bosh, like. Oh, Frankel, I'm like Frankel. You're gonna make me jealous, but what was your favorite goal that you've seen live, man?
Probably Trevor Sinclair against Derby County. It was like Boxing Day. I'd taken my sister to her first ever West Ham game, and I think her only ever West Ham game.
Yeah,
so she didn't appreciate it. But we won, I think 4-0, and he scored like an overhead kick. It was a wonder goal. That's probably the best goal I've seen live in person.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Brilliant.
Beautiful.
A question I haven't asked anybody yet is Oh, do you know what? The question's actually gone from my head because
No,
I was thinking about that.
Oh
let
no!
But
Let
but
Franco have it
but
first. It'll come back. It'll come back.
yeah,
Don't worry. It'll
yeah,
come back.
yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we
Watch.
go. Here we go. If you could own a piece of history from West Ham, any piece of history, large or small,
Mhm.
a memory or a physical item, what would it be?
Oh, very good. But like any West Ham history or just at the Bowl In?
Any West Ham history, anywhere,
Okay,
anytime.
Franco, go ahead. I want to hear that because I got to think. I'm,
I
yeah.
think I think if I could choose any item in anything at all, it would probably be
Go on.
uh, Bobby Moore's England shirt from when he won the World Cup. It's not
Ooh.
quite West Ham, but it is West Ham. It's Bobby Moore. It's the captain.
Yes,
If
Yeah.
I had to
yes,
pick any item, it would be that shirt.
brilliant. Brilliant
You know,
one.
you know what I
Love
do?
that.
Beat that, Peach.
I
Beat
will.
that
I will.
item.
I will. You know what I do? You know what I do? You know what I do?
Go on.
Me and Budgie, we call you up, Franco, and we pay for your flight on a private jet. Because Budgie, just so you know, like Franco only deals like with private jets. You get me?
Oh,
So,
okay,
so
got
you
you.
get me? He's like, you get me? So like, yo, me and you getting him a private jet over to like East London. We go have like two. We'll go have two juice at like the bowling just to like get our adrenaline up. Just to get our adrenaline up. And then when what time the bowling close? Like 12, 1, 2?
This definitely doesn't answer the question.
No, it does. Always going to. So what time does the bowling close? The bowling pub. What time does that close, Budgie?
11, let's say.
What in like at night time? You
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
I have no idea now.
Okay, so
Now that there isn't a stadium there, I have no idea.
okay, so let's say we get a lock in. Yeah, let's say we get a lock in and we're doing like party treats and like we're having 2 beers. Franco bought some like ganja down from Texas. Well, no, I bring the ganja down because it's legal. It's legal in Canada, so I bring
Yeah,
the
but you
ganja
can't bring
down.
it here.
Oh yes, I can. Oh yes, I can. So like, yo, I'll bring the ganja down. Yo, we're chilling. 3 a.m. and we're chilling, and we got all the courage. We got all the courage in the world. Our adrenaline is up. We are lifting that trophy, and we are bringing it home. So, yo, I'm taking the trophy. I'm taking the statue, dog. Not the trophy, the
The
statue, dog.
statue.
I'm taking the blood clot statue, dog, and we're all gonna like grips it up. Yo, imagine that. And this is like movie things. And Budgie will put it into like some like video things. Watch me. And it's like Budgie's on the phone.
What are you smoking?
Me and Franco got the statue, and we're carrying the statue down Green Street to like the West Ham Tube
It's
Station.
like the
dog.
film Green Hornet, isn't it? It's like that movie Green Hornet when they cut the head off of that fella's statue.
I'm taking the statue, dog. And Franco's taking it with me, and so are you, Budgie. We're taking the statue. And yeah,
If you
that's
say
what I'm
so.
taking.
If
That's
you
what I'm
say
taking.
so.
What's
Oh,
your item, Budgie?
Okay.
Wouldn't that be beautiful, though?
For
That would
me,
be
similarly to you,
Go on.
I would actually have a shirt, and a pair of boots. Actually,
Whose
if I'm honest,
boots? Whose boots?
Sir Jeff's.
Whoa.
Although Bobby Moore is my ultimate favourite player of all time,
Oh.
of any club, doesn't
Yeah,
matter. You know
yeah.
that the fact that he was West Ham is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But you know, the 1966 World Cup final, that number 10 shirt, them boots.
Yeah.
Oh mate, he got a hat trick,
transformed
didn't he,
him.
that day? He got a
I'm
hat trick that
Yep.
day. So
Yeah.
you know that shirt and those boots are probably as a pair, that the two items, the boots and the shirt, you're probably looking at 10 grand.
And
So,
you know what's
minimum.
funny? The first thing that came into my mind before I said the statue thing, and I wanted to say that just to be like off the wall, but the first thing that came to my mind, and it's not no joke, like real talk, straight up, Jeff Hurst shirt. Like that was the first thing that came into my mind. But I was like, no, we gotta get crazy with this and like take the statue and like bring it on the tube and take it home.
Very
And
convenient.
oh, wouldn't that be dope? Wouldn't that be dope? No, Jeff Hurst. What like my father says, Budgie, like he was basically like average before he went to the World Cup, and then when he went to the World Cup, he turned into like Iron Man, Superman,
Yeah.
and he came back and
Well,
he was a different player.
that was a kind of like that was because he had to step up because
Yes, yes, yes.
you know Jimmy Greaves was unavailable.
Yep, yep,
So
yep,
Jeff Hurst had to step up in the
yep.
semi and managed, secure himself a place in the final with his performance.
And was
And
it
what a
was it
performance that was in the
one
final! I
hundred
mean,
percent?
incredible,
And
incredible.
was it true that whatchamacallit, Greavesy used to like drink like a full bottle of vodka like before each and every game? Like, well, not each and
I
every
actually
game, but
don't know the truth on that. I have heard
that
similar
my
stories,
pop
but
says that there is some truth in that. My pop says there is
mm,
some truth in that. Like he used to down like
yeah.
he wasn't the only one. Like Bestie was doing
I
it.
know that
You know what I mean?
George Best used to float
That's
his
what I'm saying.
he used to float his yacht in a bathtub full of vodka
You
that
get
he would
me?
later drink.
You get
No,
me?
but you know what I mean. There were certain people that did like to have a drink, and I believe that Jimmy Greaves was one of them.
Did you hear about the one when one of the boys, I don't know who it was, but George Best had two world models in his hotel room, and he like on the bed there was nothing but money, and they were drinking bubbly, they were drinking whatever, vodka,
Mm.
gin, bubbly, whatever. And this, I think it might have been a journal, but the journal knocks on the door, and he sees George Best like Stark, and then he sees these two like world models, bed, money all over it, and he's like, Georgie, where did it all go wrong? Are you having a fucking laugh? Like homeboy was chilling with like two top world models. Like,
What's wrong with that
yeah,
picture?
that's what I'm saying, dog. And like, this journal's like, where did it all go
Fuck
wrong?
it.
I think George Best, like in the sincere nature of himself, just looked, smiled, and was like, "All right, mate, close the
Yeah,
door." Like,
later.
come
Yeah.
on, man. Like,
Okay.
yo,
So did we cover? We didn't cover
what's up?
favorite player of all time, did we?
No, we didn't. What's yours,
So
Budgie?
let's do that now. Oh no, this is about you two, not me.
I know, but I want to
Come.
know Budgie's favorite player. I think I know. I
Well,
think I
I
know.
already
I
did.
think
I
I know.
already said it. It's Bobby Moore,
Yeah.
my favourite West Ham player, but he's also my favourite player in history. Yes, there have been some fantastic players,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. Of course, we're West Ham, dog.
Pele and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. But for me, Bobby Moore, he was just Mr. Smooth. He brought
Mm,
class to the East End.
it was said
You
that
know.
that it was said like when he played that his hair never went out of place. Like he was that smooth.
Oh, I don't
Like
know
he
about
was a
that. I don't know
no,
about
but
that. But
that's what I heard, Doc. I heard like
he was completely slick, completely.
I heard his like not a hair went out of place, and he was just so composed. Wasn't the fastest, but he was already there before the other player knew about it. Like
Yeah, he
what a
knew what
man!
you were going to
What a
do before you'd even thought about it, mate.
bish, bash,
That was Bobby
bosh.
Moore.
Yes,
So come
yes,
on, Adam, who's your favourite
yes.
player
Come
in
on with it,
history
Frankel.
that you've seen, that you've had the good fortune to watch, whether it be live or on TV?
I mean, it's so hard.
It
Throughout the years, it's kind of changed. So originally, probably because he scored in the first game I ever went to, Tony Cottee
Yep,
was my
Right?
favourite player at the beginning.
yep.
Yep.
Then as I got older, it went to Paolo Di Canio.
Hmm.
Yep.
Love Paolo Di Canio. Joe Cole, because same thing. He was similar age to me, looks a bit like me. But I mean, I think probably if I was being forced to pick a player, it would still be Paolo Di Canio. But I predict in 5 years' time, you ask me this question again, and I'll probably say Declan Rice.
Hmm.
I think Declan Rice has the potential to be the only real world class player that
Yep,
we've ever seen, that I've ever seen in my lifetime at West
yep,
Ham.
yep.
You
You're
know,
right.
he is
Yeah.
not only is he a stunning player, everything he does is amazing, but
Hmm.
also his attitude. The
Lovely.
fact that he
He's
is
a thoroughly decent chap.
yeah,
Not
he
many.
has a
Yeah.
laugh.
Yep.
He's got charisma. He
Yep.
don't take himself too seriously. I mean,
Yep.
hell, he's even popped up on some West Ham YouTube channels. Just to why
So
not?
dope. So
You know,
dope.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that shows like a humility.
Down
The
to earth.
fact that he's, you know,
Yeah.
he almost definitely will be England captain. I mean, even Gary Neville. You know,
Yeah.
I've never loved Gary Neville, but I appreciate his opinion. And the podcast he recorded with Gary Neville.
When
I
I
mean,
don't.
when someone
brilliant.
at
Yeah.
Gary Neville's level
Yeah.
turns around and says, "Do you know what?
Mhm.
I put my hands up and I called this wrong. I never gave Declan Rice the respect he deserves,
Yeah.
and he is the most stunning young player I have ever been around in my life."
I love that.
Yeah.
When someone who's got the ego of Gary Neville can come around and say that, you're like, yeah.
Yeah,
we've
you have
been
to
saying
take
it
notice,
for
don't
years.
you? Really?
Oh,
Really do.
absolutely.
Cool. So yeah,
And,
Peach, what about you?
just to go on to Adam's point first, like Gary Neville says that.
Yeah.
Gary Neville says like he's the most switched on player. You know what I mean? Like he said that in the what's it called? What's the show called that he has? That they were on.
Overlap.
Yeah, that's
The
it.
overlap.
That's it, mate. And like he was saying, basically, like Declan Rice is the most switched on player. My
Yeah.
player, and this is my player, and Adam said it, but this is the only player that Pelé has ever said he's the only English player that could ever play for Brazil, and that is my boy, man. Joe to the J to the O to the E, C to the O to the L to the E, man. Joe Cole is just like he was my idol, man. And Adam Frankel does not look like Joe Cole. Whoever told Adam Frankel that is tripping. They're on acid. They're seeing like two
No.
things at once. No, Brethren.
You can talk, Peach.
Brethren,
I
you do
trust
not
their
look
opinion
like
better than
Brethren.
yours.
I'm looking at you right now. You do not look like Joe Cole, dog. So I don't know. Like I heard, I look like Joe Cole, but like you do not look like Joe Cole, dog. So I'm just putting it out there, like straight up, real talk.
Peach, you look more like George Cole.
I look more like Ash Cole, just like real talk. But
You know George Cole is
no, I have
surely
no idea. I have no idea, dog.
Arthur Daly.
Arthur Daly, I have no idea, dog. No idea.
You know Arthur Daly is surely.
Arthur Daly, no, Bridget. I look like some youth on like the Munsters or some shit. But yo, I'm showing you. Yes and no, but like no, Franco, they were lying to you, dog. You do not look like Joe Cole. But like, honestly, Franco, Pele said this. He said Joe Cole's the only English player that he would have played for Brazil. Like that's a big compliment, man. Like I think that's massive. Like
yeah.
yeah,
And to be fair, when he went to Chelsea,
yeah.
as you know, my brother's a massive Chelsea
I
fan.
think he got treated harshly there at first.
My brother was more excited about Joe Cole going there than he was Frank Lampard.
What about Glenn Johnson? Because he went there too. Was your brother excited about him going there?
Yeah, but when it really comes down to it, my brother's a lot like me, and he'll watch a lot of what happens off the ball as well as what happens on the ball.
Oh,
And
Joe Cole
was like the seven dwarfs. I mean, he was like, he would work the whole day through. And I have to be honest with you, Joe Cole isn't a player that really springs to mind with me because there are so many other players that I have seen in my lifetime. But I do agree that Joe Cole is worthy of an honourable mention in this section because he's incredible. He was incredible. And when he came back to us, did you notice how our performances got a little lift and there was a little bit more of a buzz about the team when he came back,
Absolutely, man.
And I think that, also as a pundit, he's got the right attitude for it. Yes, he is, biased towards West Ham or Chelsea, whichever one he's punditing on.
They are, aren't they?
But, at the end of the day, he will, call out, bad play or, a terrible tackle or something. He'll call it out regardless, And
Budgie,
so, I agree. Joe Cole, great. What a great choice.
I agree with Adam too. Like, don't get it twisted. I love this bloke. I think he is the bee's knees. And you know what? Paulo Di Canio, what a player. And even though he was so like off the rocker, he was such an honest man at the same time. You get what I'm saying, Franco? Like he was like, what a player. And he had like when Redknapp first brought him in, people were scared. They were like,
Yeah.
"What's he doing? Like this man
Yeah,
is like off his
he
rocker."
just
Like,
wrestled not wrestled, but he just thrown a bloody referee to the floor.
yeah,
So of course people were scared, you know.
yeah. Even when he went to Lazio, he did like some things I don't even want to like Germany things, and it was just like, yo, why are you doing that? But
even while he was at
care.
Lazio, he still wore claret and blue
I
every
know.
chance he got.
And we
You
still
know?
sing his name all through the stands. Dog.
Oh, yeah,
All through
we
the
still do.
stands.
We
dog.
still
Tell you a
do.
little. So I used to, when I was a kid, 16, I worked at the Marriott Hotel, Swallow Hotel, it was called.
All right.
Before West Ham would go to every away game, they meet at that hotel, and if they were playing in London, they would have their pre-match meal. And when teams played away, they would come to the hotel, so we'd serve their pre-match meal. And I was
so you're responsible for the lasagna at Tottenham with Tottenham.
yeah.
That was a little after I'd left by then. So before I started my job there, I was doing work experience, and the West Ham team will start walking in, and no one told me. I had no idea. So the time they're all in, we're serving a pre-match meal to them. Di Canio not there.
What happened?
So Di Canio did his own pre-match meal. He's like, no, I'm not eating this shit. I'm eating my own. Literally didn't sit down with the team for their pre-match meal. He showed up afterwards. Literally the only player in the squad. Everyone else is there eating. He shows up at the end, and literally I'm walking back because I look and I'm like, where's Paolo Di Canio? You know, and this is back when John Moncur was there. We were all having a laugh. And I walk back, and then he's just stood in the doorway in my way, and I freeze because I'm just like, I don't think I said anything because I was just like so in awe, and he's literally just stood in the door, like has the room in his hands, really, you know, like insane. Yeah, that's my Di Canio story.
No, he was a legend. Like, was he dressed in like some dodgy gear? Like, because
he was smart. He was looking.
But I know, but he wears the suits, but they're like yellow and purple and like green and pink and like white and blue. Like he dresses in some dodgy gear, dog. But it's like he always makes it look like.
I love that suit he wears. The light blue one with the claret print.
Yes. I love it when he comes to the ground. Like if it's Bolton or if it's like LS London Stadium, and everybody just starts singing his name, man. It's like I love that, man. Like he's top. He's top dollar, man.
We've covered favorite players. What about a player that you wish had never pulled on the shirt?
Haller.
Really?
I mean, there's two for me. There's two for me, and it's a joint. Like,
pardon me.
I think the number 100% is Roberto. Worst player I've ever seen at West Ham.
I know, but I can't even consider him. He was like not even considerable.
No, because we're not talking about someone who made one appearance. I mean, the guy. It was calamity after calamity.
I have to agree.
I don't know how he got into the team, and in the end, they replaced him with Alvin Martin's kid, who literally was like, you know, they're like, well, we don't have anything else. We'll get this kid in.
Training coach,
ability-wise, really isn't a Premier League player. But, oh my God, I was much happier to have someone who played with his heart on his sleeve as opposed to someone who I don't think knew where his sleeve even was.
It was in the back of the
I agree. Who was the second one?
Wasn't it a beautiful moment? No, wasn't it a beautiful moment when he got that clean sheet against Chelsea, though, when him and his dad had that moment?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Go on, Frankel.
That actually brought a lump to my throat.
Oh, big time.
The second player is Carlos Sanchez. Another one from the same era.
Yeah.
Absolute joke of a player.
Yeah.
You know, how that guy...
How did they ever get professional contracts?
No idea. Seriously, because the guy, like, he was so switched off.
I'm changing my answer.
Awful player. And I mean, you know, you've seen some, and you know, I think there's people that have come back to the club. You've got people like Lee Bowyer, Joe Cole, even, who came back to the club wanting to do well, but really their best was past them and they didn't have it in the tank. But they still had something.
The effort was there. The effort was there. And, you know, similarly, when we got Ian Wright in, I mean, I never expected much out of Ian Wright at all because it was his twilight years,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
He did all
But
right.
even so,
He did do
the
all right.
moment he pulled that shirt on and put his boots on,
He got stuck
he
in.
gave 100%.
Yeah.
And once the player gives 100%,
Yeah.
he gets into our hearts. So, yeah.
But
What about
Budgie,
you then, Peach?
but
Come
who
on.
Budgie boy. Who's the player I'm thinking of that we signed and he was supposed to be the next big thing?
Savio,
Yes. What was his last name? Nazarko or
Nazarko.
Nazarko?
Did he even
Nazarko, yeah.
play?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think he made one substitute appearance, didn't he?
But that's it.
I
Like
can't
he was
remember.
brought in, and I think it was Egnert Magnuson that brought him in, and Terrence Brown maybe, but I think it was Egnert Magnuson, and Frankel, were you there for the Terrence Brown days? Like when they were like Brown out and all this and that. Like, were you going
Like,
to the games then?
not much, but
Yeah.
because I was still young. I mean,
Yeah,
I went to a few games, but yeah, I wasn't. I was
Do
a
you,
kid.
did you,
So
do you think that was more? Do you think that was more whatchamacallit, toxic than what's going on now with Sullivan and Gold or no?
I don't know. It's hard to compare.
Similar, isn't it? It's
It is
it's a
hard.
bit similar.
I mean, the thing is, I think the sentiment for wanting them gone is
Yep.
completely different.
Okay.
With Terence Brown, it was more a case of we felt that his love for the club had gone and
Hmm.
that he really wasn't really that bothered. It was almost like have a cup of tea and don't bother washing up your cup.
Yep.
That was kind of his attitude. And whereas with Golden Sullivan, they want the club to do well and that, but they've interfered too much in the
Oh, way
day-to-day
too
running
much.
of it.
Way too much,
And I
man.
think that's what I personally, I think that's what a lot of West Ham fans resent is their hands-on approach to
Hmm.
transfers, etc., and stuff
Yeah,
like
one
that, and
hundred
not
percent.
leaving it to the management.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's where a lot of the discontent comes from with the fan base with them. As I said, with Brown, it was very different.
Well, hopefully there's a change on Sullivan and Gold's stance because there was a
Mm,
match yesterday and it was Porto. Porto was playing, and funnily enough, Porto, whoever they were playing, I forget who they were playing, but they were down
mm,
2-0. And no, they were down 1-0. And Tony Martinez, who used to play for us,
yep,
he scored 2 goals, and he ended up
yeah,
winning it for Porto. And we had a couple of scouts there watching the match, so that wasn't out of Sullivan's best interest. That was probably like Newman and Kaczynski telling them,
yeah.
and Moyes, like telling them go watch the match,
Go and have
scout
a
some
look, see
things.
what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's always a plus. But that Savio cat, man, like he came through and he was supposed to be the next big thing, and he
mm,
did bugger all. Like
yeah,
honestly, like he
yeah,
didn't. He was given a chance maybe once, like you said, but besides that, no. And who
mm.
like Budgie? Who's your most disappointing West Ham United player that you've seen? Like Frankel's was Roberto, mine was Savio. Who's yours?
Mm. I think uh, the most disappointing player, I think,
Yep.
I'd probably have to go with Adam's second choice, which was, Carlos Sanchez. I think
Yeah,
he was highly disappointing for me.
he
But
was highly disappointing from
that's
when we
not the player
signed
that
him.
I would have said that I wished I'd never pulled the shirt on.
who
That's
would
what I'm
you say
saying.
that is?
Well, for me, I think it's Faguli. I really didn't like him.
Oh, I liked
So,
him.
so I didn't. I
I know,
found
I
him
can
to be,
tell.
he was kind of distasteful for me. I didn't really feel that he had, the club's interest at heart. I felt it was all
It was just himself.
purely for him.
Because
But I think there's a lot of players in that category,
oh
and
yeah,
I think
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah,
other players who like. I mean, like I'm going to say it. Another probably, if you'd have asked the question in a different way and
yep,
said most hated player, then I'd say
yeah,
Paul Ince every day of the week.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what? At least these guys, they might have been shit, but they didn't actually disrespect the club like
yeah,
Paul Ince did. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
And there's
Or
nothing
like
more
Payet
fun
did.
than
Yeah.
true.
Snake in the grass things, dog. Yeah.
You know, there's a level. At least these shit players, you know,
Had a
like
level of decency about them, yeah.
and
Yeah,
some of them, you know what? Reality
know-
is, you've got to remember it's their job. Not everyone shows up to work and really loves their job and really puts in maximum effort.
Yep.
At the end of the day, these boys are all getting a wage, and some of them, they've signed their big money contract and they don't really care about delivering it because, well, they're getting their money. So, you know, and it's
Yeah.
sad, but that's how some of them are.
That is.
Because
That's it.
welcome to the world we
agree
live
fully.
in, you know?
And just to be like the most unpopular man in the room right now, Paul Ince was my cousin's best man at his wedding. So you know what? Yeah, that's just to be the most unpopular man in the room right
do you
now.
know, and do you know something? One time I was up at Gatwick Airport, which is
Yeah, go on.
literally 3 or 4 miles up the road to me.
Go on, my G.
Not far at all. And I was up there, and Paul Lynch came through the airport. I was actually driving a cab at the time, and I was waiting for my fare, and he got out of this minibus thing. And I was like, "Oh, Paul, is any chance of an autograph?" He went, "Absolutely not."
Yeah.
I was like, "Why are you being like that?" I said, "Come on, mate. You know, I'd like your autograph." And he went, "Well, I don't care what you'd like. You ain't getting one."
Budgie, you know who
And
did
walked
that?
away from me.
Budgie,
And I
you
thought
know,
to myself, "You're an arsehole." Yeah, go on.
Budgie, you know who did that to me, dog?
Right.
Do you know who did that to me? And homeboy had enough time to give me an autograph. He was smoking a blood clot cigar in like the pro like golf pro room. Michael flipping Jordan, dog. I was at Michael Jordan's charity golf event. There was everybody there, like Carson Daly, like Brett Hall, Wayne Gretzky, Ahmad Rashad, all the man that were Charles Barkley, all the man them were there. And like he is in the golf pro shop. And I went up to him and I'm like, "Mr. Jordan, can I get your autograph?" And his bodyguard came through and he's like, "He's signed enough autographs today." Da, 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 da. Yeah, he thought I was a chump until the next day when they were supposed to have like the after golf like celebration parade, like whatever outside. Because it was raining, they had to have it inside. My dad's brethren was a member at this golf course called the Ocean Club in the Bahamas. We went in to the little like whatever place where they were where they were having like the after party thing for the golf game thing. And Michael Jordan done seen me, and I looked at him like, "You bastard, like you don't know who you're messing with." Like I was nobody, but like I just like fronted like, "Yo, you don't know who you just like this, man." Like, and he was looking at me like, "Oh," and he went like that. I was like, "Nope, I don't want your autograph no more, dog. You can piss off, dog." But yeah,
I mean,
he chumped me as well, dog.
Story that piece.
No, all my life, my dad will vouch for me. My mom will vouch for me. Like straight up, Ocean Club, Bahamas, real talk.
And you turned it down.
No, I didn't turn it down. I asked for his autograph, and then like when he was chilling on my life, when he was chilling, and he was with Charles Barkley, and there was some like other NBA players there at the table he was sitting at. He's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and we got our picture taken with Wayne Gretzky.
About this?
Watch, we got our picture taken with Wayne Gretzky, dog. But when he's at the thing, he looked at me, and then he realized who I was from yesterday when his bodyguard punked me off, and he went like, and I'm like. I just like didn't even pay no mind. And watch this. He went out that night, dog, took all his brethren to like dinner, and the dinner meal, the dinner cost was like he spent what was it? It was like 500,000. No, what was it? It was either 50,000. It was either $50,000 or $500,000. I think it was 500,000 on a meal.
Wow.
Yeah,
$8 million on a meal.
No, 500,000, dog.
$500 million?
Fuck off, 500,000, dog. 500. No, it was shut up. It was either 500,000 or 50,000.
Wow, 7,000 million.
No, listen, shut up. Shut up. I know it was either. I know it started with the 5.
I know it started with the number 5.
But like, they were getting like bottles of champagne for like.
Probably.
Shut up. They were getting that McDonald's.
There's us trying to talk about West Ham.
No, but brethren,
who cares about basketball?
I know, but I'm not. I'm just talking about the dinner. They were getting like $10,000, $20,000 bottles of like champagne. So it was probably $500,000, dog. I think it was $500,000. They spent $500,000 for dinner, and that was like Ahmad Rashad, like Michael Jordan. The boy from New York Yankees were there too. He was sitting like right beside me.
Oh, Babe Ruth.
A-Rod.
Yeah, I'm
A-Rod
sure.
was
Babe
there.
Ruth was there as well.
No,
Bobby Moore,
Gretchen.
Michael
I'm not.
Jackson
I'm not
was
playing
there.
with you. I'm not. I have
I
like
heard Hitler flew
no
in for it as
Gretchen.
well, actually.
Gretchen. I'm not even
Yeah.
playing with you.
Yeah,
I
you know
have
me.
like the actual book.
I heard
Like,
the Queen was there.
not a flyer. It's
Or
not
was
a
it Freddie
flyer.
Mercury?
Shut up. But it's not a flyer. It's like a book. You know when you get like it's like it was a golf tournament. So it's like the Michael Jordan charity event 2005. Look it up. I was there, dog.
Brilliant.
Because
Cool.
and I got the book and it has all the people in there.
I was
dog.
there as well.
And
Yeah.
you know what?
Me and Budgie were there actually.
Carson
Yeah,
Daly.
first time we
Carson
met. wasn't
Daly is small like me, dog. Like
Yeah,
I thought
Carson
he was
Daly.
a big
Oh yeah,
man.
remember that, Budge? We hung out with Carson Daly in the toilet. didn't we?
Yeah.
Yo, differently.
Yeah.
Yo, differently. I don't have to prove nothing. I was there, dog. And Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan
Oh,
punched
Michael
me
Jackson
out.
as well. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Michael
Oh, yeah,
Jackson was there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
No,
Didn't
but
Yeah.
Didn't you two write a song then as well
we
together?
did. It was called it was called Black
I
and
think it
White.
was-
Yeah, Black and White. Me and him
I
wrote
thought it was Beat It after he.
No, what
was
was what was the tune that Michael Jackson had with Paul McCartney? What was that? Ebony and Ivory. That's the tune we wrote. Ebony and Ivory Part 2, dog. Straight up. No, but real
Right,
talk. I
let's
even got
move
the
on.
book
Come
written.
on.
No, straight up.
Come on.
You're right.
I ain't
Let's
playing
move
with
on. Let's move on. Right. Okay. So, where do you think we're going to finish this season? And what's
Fourth.
your vision for the next sort of 3 years or so?
Frankel.
Oh god, I'm not one for long term. There's too much that can happen. I mean, I think I really.
What would you like to see over the next 3 years?
Yeah,
That's
good,
probably
good,
I
Budgie.
think this season, finishing Champions League is everything because
Yeah.
if we don't, we probably aren't keeping deck.
Yeah.
You know, because there's got. I mean, maybe if we get to Europa League final, but the reality is, this is our season. That all of the teams around us, Tottenham, United, Arsenal, they're all playing just as badly as us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, like, there is no runaway. Most seasons,
Just
you don't get these options. Think about it. The last month, we have played crap, and somehow we're still in fourth.
I know.
Yeah. I know.
Crazy.
I mean, it's the middle of February and we're full.
And we're safe.
That's
And we
Yeah,
got
crazy.
40 points,
That's
Budgie.
crazy.
We got 40 points. Like, what the
So-
fuck?
I think the key, once again, Newcastle have proved to be a bit of an Achilles heel. We play them next. And I mean, I think depending on that, for me, there's a lot going on this game because we need to show that we can play. Lately we
Stable.
haven't.
Yep.
We're struggling with injuries.
Yep.
And I mean, we'll see. I'm hopeful. I really hope we can finish fourth. And then I would love it if we could just buy the stadium,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sell the club to this rich guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's push on. Sign more players. Have some people that are a bit ambitious, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the reality is Golden Sullivan, they want to be involved. They want to play the football game. They enjoy it. You know what? If one of us owned West Ham, would we want to say in the transfers? Yes, of course we would, because we love the club. And so we would be tempted to get involved. In reality, what we need is a rich billionaire who just wants to play the football game. He wants the status. He doesn't want to do the work. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to
Pass
phone
it
up the
off.
manager and say,
Yeah.
hey, I found this guy on the cheap and you're signing him. You know,
No.
like Sullivan.
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. 100% Frankel.
Oh, by the way, this is Michael. He's your new striker.
Yeah.
You know
Thank
what
you.
I mean? That
Yeah,
kind of
thank
thing,
you.
you know?
Yeah.
And so we need
Okay.
an owner like that who's rich enough that just he wants the status of being an owner,
Yep.
doesn't want to mess around with the,
Like-
work.
Like a silent
okay,
partner
right.
type thing. I get exactly what you're saying, Frankel. Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Pete? What about this season and what you would like to see? For the next
I'd love.
3 years, 3
Okay,
years?
so this is how it goes. This is me breaking it down. Yeah, watch the flex. Like this is me breaking it down now. Watch this, dog. What I'd like to see. Hold on, my microphone got caught under my bed sheet still.
That's right. We can
Okay.
still hear you.
Me. Okay, watch this. So I would like to see us finish fourth. like if we can. If we can't, do I give two things? No, because I want to win the Europa League. I want to win the Europa League. Why, you ask? Peach, why do I want to win the Europa League? Or why do we want to win the Europa League? I want to win the Europa League because we win the Europa League, we are Champions League. Now, if you look at it, we're only 4 games away from the Europa League final. That's not too difficult to like do,
No,
especially with the
no.
squad that we have. We're 4 games away, Frankel and Budgie. We are 4 games away. So it's like we have that. We have that. We could have that. I'd rather
We're
finish.
not 4 games away, are
Yes,
we?
we are. It's the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two legs, mate.
Yeah.
Just bear
So 4
with me
games.
for 1 second. I've got to turn my
For-
heating down.
Okay,
Keep
no
going.
problem. No, so 4 games away, Frankel. That's
not
that's
problem.
2 quarterfinal games, 2 semifinal games, and then 1 final game, which is 5. How you mean?
Oh.
Oh, but I know, but me saying that, there's a lot of teams in it still. And I think it's a lot more than just like 8 or 16 in it.
No,
I
there's
think,
16 left. So we've
There
got
is in
2
there.
games to get to the 8,
right?
then
So
2
I was
games to
wrong,
get to the
wasn't I?
semis.
Yeah.
So we're 6 games away from getting to the final.
Okay. 6. So it's still not too bad, too shabby. Like 6 games away. Like 6 games away from getting to the promised land. I take it. So you got that. And then okay, answer me this. FA Cup. So
Less
FA
games
Cup,
to the
FA Cup,
final,
we
I think.
got Southampton, that's quarterfinals, yeah?
Yeah, literally, we're closer to the FA Cup final than the Europa League final.
Okay, so FA Cup final, it's like quarterfinals, semifinal, and then final. So we're like 2 games away from the final.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
We're
'cause
in
I
the
was-
knockout stages now of the Europa League, aren't we?
I know, but what I was saying to Frankel Budgie, there's a lot more teams in it than I thought there was, because I know Monaco's in it, Bayer Leverkusen's in it, Rangers are in it, Sevilla's in it. Like, there's a lot.
Barcelona.
You get what I'm saying? So like, Frankel's saying it would be 6 games before the final in the Europa.
Yeah, I think he's right. Yeah.
So do I. So, but when you look at it, it's like, okay, 6 games away, we could be in the final from the Europa. 2 games away, we could be in the final of the FA Cup. So that's what I'm focused on. The league is great, and you know, if we finish higher in the league, good for that. That's great. But with that whole new television deal supposedly coming in, where they're paying like 10.9 billion, and every club's gonna get 500 million, like in their back pocket, like some Del Boy treat. Like next year, this time, Rodney, we're gonna be millionaires. It's like, yo, we could run with that. So it's like we could finish like 6th, 7th, 8th. And win the Europa, win the FA Cup. I'm more focused on the Europa and the FA Cup than the league right now. And I'm happy if that television from overseas comes in. That's it. That's me.
Yeah, it's sort of like a more realistic target.
Bless you.
Bless you. Yeah, it's more of a realistic target going for the cup than the league.
That's what
I
I
mean,
think.
we stand no chance of winning the league this year at all. None whatsoever. We've got a very slim chance of finishing 4th.
Yep.
I would put it at.
Yep.
I think we're probably more likely to finish 5th or 6th. If we finish lower than 7th, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
Personally, you know that. I think, you know, even if we qualify for this Europa Potato Growers League or whatever it's called, Conference
I
League.
don't want that. No, I don't want
even if we qualify for that, but even
no.
if we did qualify for that, it would still be European football. So that's still kind of like some kind of consistency. But if we win the Europa League, we will then automatically qualify for the Champions League.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
if we get knocked out of the Champions League, then we would drop straight back down into the Europa anyway.
Thank you. It's
so
like
yeah, if we do well in the Europa this year, we're guaranteed European football next season. Simple as that. You know, we've got to reach the final.
Budgie, it's exciting times for once, for years, for decades. It's exciting, and Frankel too, because yes, like it's exciting times. Like, and you know that, Frankel knows that, Kieran knows that. Like Kieran, God bless him, like as well as yourself. Like he's been to the games in the 70s, the 80s, and like waiting for these times, and they're here, and it's like, You know, like the club not backing Moyes in the transfer window this winter, like they didn't last
We're
summer.
not so sure that that is the case, though, Peach. I mean,
No,
it may
I
have been
know,
a case that,
I
you know,
know.
like he said, you know, I'm
He's
looking at
frugal, isn't he?
I'm
He's
looking
frugal.
at Frankel as my striker. I'm
Yeah,
not going to go and get Peach as a stand-in
yeah,
just because he's available and Frankel isn't.
yes,
I'd
yes.
rather wait for Frankel to be available.
He's frugal. He's frugal, dog.
That's how Moyes is looking at it,
I know,
and
because
I admire that because you know
100.
he's taking a fair bit of flack from the faithful and that, and he stands up well to it, and more power to him. I think we should have faith in David Moyes. I think he will get us to where we want to be. We have to give him another
100%,
3 or 4 years to do that, though.
One
We
hundred
have
percent. It's
to.
like it's like Kieran could have been like who's the boy that me and you were talking about, and you brought him up first, and I won't take that from you. Julian Alvarez, was that his name?
Alvarez, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Julian Alvarez. So it's like you got Julian Alvarez. Let's say that's Kieran, and then you got Budgie, who's like Origi. It's like you're gonna get one of the two. You know what I mean? But it's like, is
Yeah.
it gonna be like a young, like Julian Alvarez, like bring the man over from Brisbane?
Alvarez, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Alvarez, or is it gonna
Yeah.
be like, yo, in your backyard, Origi type things?
Yeah.
Who you gonna bring
For
in?
me personally, I'd rather go for a
I
player
go
with
Origi.
Premiership
I'd
experience.
go, yeah,
Yeah,
I'd go Origi
Agreed.
straight up. If we
me
got
too.
money to spare, I'd go Alvarez.
Yeah.
One
I
hundred
mean,
percent. One
with
hundred
David
percent.
Moyes, he beds a player in. We've seen it with Ben Rama, we've
Yep.
seen it with
Yep.
Bowen,
Yep.
we've
Yep.
seen
Yep.
it with Fornals.
Yep.
We've seen it
Yep.
with a lot of players.
Yep.
Kurt Zuma came in, got an immediate start. Craig Dawson came in, got an immediate start. Jesse
Kufal, same
Lingard
thing.
came in.
Kufal,
Well,
same
Jesse
thing, dog.
Lingard came in and he got an immediate start. The thing that them three players all have in common is that all three of them have got Premiership
Yeah,
experience.
but Kufal didn't have a Premier League
No,
experience,
he
but he had
didn't. He didn't.
international experience, dog. He had
And
international experience, dog. And he changed the game like that.
David Moyes had a space on the pitch for him as well, because
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time Fredericks
Yeah.
was out with an injury.
Yeah.
Johnson hadn't come through the ranks,
Yeah.
to play in the first team yet.
Yeah.
So there was an open space there, and he took somebody in that he knew would fill it straight away. So
Then he did.
I think
He
Soufal
did.
was maybe just a bit of an exception to Moyes' rule. But I think you'll find that, with a player with Premiership experience, and in Kurt Zuma's case, Champions
Yeah,
League,
but no, it's
World
Premiership.
Cup experience,
Yeah, but it's Premiership experience, and then it's like international experience. Because when Kufal came in, I remember the first match he played. It made all the difference in the world of
yeah,
one man just being
and
right back. And I
continue
was
to
like,
do
what
so for the entire season.
And he's fallen off a bit now. So it's like, Frankel, tell me if I'm wrong, and be brutally honest. But against Newcastle, I'd like to see Fredericks get a start. Just because of the pace St. Maximum has, and like this, that, and the third, and I think Kufal's kind of like dipping a bit.
Does some Maximum play down the left then?
Listen, he plays anywhere. He crosses over like crisscross, like jump. Yeah, I'm gonna make it, Mac Daddy. But like, yo, Frankel, what do you think? You think like Fredericks like would get a start against Newcastle or no?
I don't know.
I'd like to see it, Doc.
I just hope Zuma's there.
Zuma will be there. Zuma will be there. But I said to the boy on the Claret and Booze, that Wayne youth, I said to him, they were talking about two things the other night, and I said, listen, West Ham will beat Newcastle if we play Fredericks. I honestly think Fredericks will be the answer, Doc. I think Fredericks will be the answer, Doc. I really do, man. I really do, man. And I want to see Vlasic show up, like Vlasic.
See, now I think Vlasic needs to be played as a false nine, personally.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you, dog. I do not disagree with you.
It'll be interesting to see tomorrow.
I think he's got a good eye for goal, Vlasic.
What was that, Frankel?
So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, like who he starts.
Massive. Sorry, Budgie, go on. Sorry.
No, Masuaku's still not available, is he?
No.
Rumor has it. I mean, I read a report yesterday that they think he might be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I done heard that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. They don't,
do you particularly dislike him or not?
I like
I
him.
mean,
I like him.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
The problem is he's so inconsistent. He's the most inconsistent player in our entire squad. When he's on his game,
Other than Yarmolenko.
no, because
he's
he's
just shit.
consistently average to poor. Like, you know, if Yarmolenko's not inconsistent, he's just not that good.
The average to poor.
You know, I mean, it's just, but with Masuaku, sometimes he's one of the best players on the pitch.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's like he's forgotten that he's not on the training pitch anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so that's the thing that frustrates me with him. That, you know, there are times like against Tottenham in the cup, both goals, he just totally switched off defensively, didn't track his man, wasn't paying attention, and that lack of focus, lack of professionalism cost us the game.
Yes.
And so that's the only thing. When he's on his A game, I love Masuaku.
Yeah.
But I would prefer a player who consistently shows effort than somebody who doesn't always and is inconsistent.
Yeah, that's Yarmolenko. Like it just looks like he doesn't really give two shits, does he? Like it's weird.
Do you know though? Masuaku is one of the most popular guys in the changing room.
So is
apparently
Fredericks.
Apparently Masuaku's a barrel of laughs, mate. You know,
so is Fredericks. Apparently Fredericks keeps it all together. Like Wally World would love. Like he's gonna when this premieres, Wally World's gonna be like going.
Well, I think we have a whole dressing room of that. To be honest, I mean,
that's what I'm talking
about. We've got such togetherness in our team.
Yes.
That, you know, that's why we're doing so well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think we'd struggle to find somebody that hasn't got character.
Oh, 100%. But Budgie,
I mean,
Budgie,
even Yarmolenko's got decent character.
No, but he just seems blah. He seems blah to me, dog. Like Budgie. Do you think we're gonna get Lingard in the summer? Because I think he's an important part of our.
That's a question I've been trying to avoid answering. If I'm honest with you,
why is that? Why?
But because I've found that if I expect too much, I get nothing.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm a West Ham fan, you know. I'm kind of used to that mentality.
Yep.
But having you had asked me that question, my answer to that is I bloody well hope so.
Me too.
I think that he will probably be the most important signing in the last 2 years, other than Zuma. I think Zuma has been, or is potentially going to be, the signing of the season, you know, for us. And maybe over the next couple of seasons, because you know, like I said, when you want to look at a quality top class player, you've got to look at the likes of Zuma and that have been there and they've done it.
100.
You know, and
100.
yeah. But I'm hoping we get Lingard. I'm not holding too much faith in it, but I'm hoping we do. And you know, David Moyes has made no secret of the fact that that's the player he wants.
No, of course.
You know?
Of course.
You know, I think he will probably move whatever he can to get him.
I don't know. I think at this point it's probably too late.
You think?
I think that the ship's already sailed, to be honest with you. Because the reality is, you're looking at a player that's on the decline. He's about to turn 30. You know, he turns 30 next Christmas. Yeah. And I mean, the reality is, we're not the West Ham of 10, 20 years ago, because that's exactly who we would sign. Like when we signed Ian Wright, Davos Suker, Freddie
Teddy Sheringham.
The reality is that we need to be more ambitious than that.
Yeah,
and the reality is, yes, Lingard would have been great for us this season, and I think it's a failure of the club for not making that happen.
Me too.
You know? And it might have been Man United's fault, but the reality is, I think the club failed in getting him.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I think, as harsh as it is to say, you know what? As a last resort, if David Moyes makes his checklist, his wish list, and we can't get anyone else, and then it's Lingard, fair enough. But my guess is there are going to be smaller teams lower in the league that are prepared to offer Jesse Lingard way more money than we're willing to offer him.
We could have done that.
We should, because
Villa and Newcastle to mention
100%.
just a couple.
Yeah,
or even, you know
100%.
what?
Watford or somebody like Crystal
teams
Palace.
coming up from the Championship.
Yeah.
They get a huge payment coming up, a huge amount of money. They're all looking to sign a big name player. And Lingard, there's no transfer fee. So they can break that, usually they'd be spending 10 million on a player. Well, now all of a sudden you've got 10 million plus wages. You can make Lingard the highest paid player in the history of your club. And now you've got a marquee player when you've just come up,
Yeah. Who has come on to us and really ignited his flame again, hasn't he?
Yes, sir.
It wouldn't surprise me if Fulham signed him next season.
Or Newcastle.
Oh, big time.
Newcastle
I just don't know if he'll want to go to Newcastle. That's all.
No, I'm not sure either.
But it's weird doing it because I hear what Frank was saying, Budge, because it's like if the owners and they never do this and they never will, but if they stuck their hands in their pockets and said, okay, we want Lingard, the ragging that cat who manages Manchester United, his head would have got turned, and we could have made that happen.
But I also get it, Peach. The reality is, look,
it's not the manager though, is it? It's the owners.
No, it's the agents and the owners. You're right. 100%,
but you've got to also
100%.
think, you know what? As a business person, you can't be paying crazy money for someone who's worth nothing 3 months
in the
later.
Summer. Yeah,
you just can't.
Yeah,
you can't justify spending that money. How can you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I get it, but I still think there would have been a compromise and a way to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, listen, we've been going for just over an hour and a half, so I am going to kind of wrap things up, but it's been absolutely brilliant chatting with you both, and it was a lovely surprise for you to come into the studio as well, Adam. Unexpected, but very appreciated, mate.
Well, I have to translate some of Peach's ramblings.
2 things, 2 times. How you mean? This is that's my translator, dog.
Subtitles.
The boy from Leeds, the Bielsa,
Bielsa. From Everton.
He has the guy who does the translation. Yo, Frankel's my translator, dog. Straight up. Word up. 100. Drink 2 juice.
So, guys, thank you so much for both of your time.
Our pleasure, man.
I really appreciate it. And anything I can do to help you guys out, you've only got to ask, thank you. Stay safe out there in the States, young man.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you do. And Peach, you stay safe out there in Canada, buddy.
Absolutely. Like always.
And we truly are international right now. And
yes, we are.
We have a lovely little triangle of fellas here, all doing the same thing, supporting the same club. And it's been brilliant. I just want to quickly put something up on the screen, which this applies to everybody that supports West Ham United.
I love that.
Hammers are not born, not manufactured. We do not choose, we are chosen. Those that don't understand don't matter. Those who understand need no explanation. Overland and sea.
We are follow the West Ham over land and sea. We are follow the West Ham unto victory. There you go.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon, and no doubt we'll get to chat again soon as well. Got another show idea as well, which is called Cross Channel Ferries, and it's about me and you talking about your channel. So let's do that another time. In the meantime, one more thing for us all to say before we go. Come on,
up the hammers.
Come on, Lions.
Up the hammers. How do you mean up the hammers? Come on, you want.
Artie, Zen. Yeah. Look, we're just gonna throw some bars in, have a bit of a laugh, have some fun. Hope you guys like it. Much love.
Done now. What?
You know it is.
It does.
Come on, you wines.
Come on, you wines.